Welcome to the channel. I'm Bree. I'm a practitioner of Qigong, and through Qigong I explore the paranormal realm. These occurrences that people may call miracles or paranormal, all these different labels and names that we put on something that I believe to be natural and normal. But we call it paranormal because it's not a normal everyday experience for society, human society as a whole. Now, the type of Qigong that I practice predominantly, not exclusively, is lightening, opening up the wisdom abilities. And from the teachings of Grandmaster Pang, who was at a level of teaching his students how material can transform into non-material and non-material can transform into material through thought combined with Qi. When we start using words such as thought, Qi, consciousness, energy, things can become, they can sound like there's contradiction or there's differences, but this only happens when we get caught up on the labels of words. On the channel, I like to bring things together so that everyone's right. When you look through a holistic perspective that you can reach through practicing Qigong and experiencing the original Qi stepped back before the differentiating yin and yang of the next level of Qi, we can always find a way that things make sense and don't actually contradict each other, but support each other. I've had a really interesting experience connecting with somebody who is not a Qigong practitioner, but falls into the category as laid out by Grandmaster Dr. Pang, of obtaining paranormal abilities through exposure to extreme electric or magnetic elements. His name is Benedikt, a young man from Germany. When he was a young child on a balcony in Italy, he was struck by lightning. I think he used a term that I'm not familiar with, like a lightning ball that moved around, and this affected him. And he can perform things such as psychokinesis, affecting matter at a level that is very rare. In Dr. Pang's explanation of how paranormal abilities occur and are developed, he provides this category of people who are affected by elements in this way and display paranormal abilities. So it was very interesting and insightful conversing with Benedikt. From my perspective, I'm training these abilities. I'm nurturing my field. Some call it electromagnetic field. I don't like to use that term because I find it limiting. Yes, electric and magnetic qualities, but I don't want to say it's just that. Yes, science has some instruments and they have concluded that that's what it is, but I think the instruments at this current day are limited. They can't detect the source of this electromagnetic behavior. At each time in society, we develop more and more instruments and tools to detect finer and finer levels of Qi, energy. But it was very fascinating speaking to him and seeing some of his demonstrations. One, he was holding a round object, I think it was a ping pong ball, and he manifested a sticky substance coming from the object. I saw this, I understood it from my Qigong experience of paranormal behavior, but I'm not at a level of today. I'm not. Who knows about tomorrow? Of manifesting this myself. So it was very interesting for me to see a human display this, bringing a sticky substance into reality. I'll leave a link in the description. You can watch that demonstration. It's in German, but you can work it out. And what I found most fascinating, that's why I think created this video to share, because we're not all exposed to these experiences, chatting with somebody who has been struck by lightning or exposed to highly magnetic fields that would cause a shift in them to be able to exhibit paranormal behavior. What I found fascinating was, for him, this is his natural experience. So a rare amount of people that have had this experience, exposed to the elements, it's their natural, well, each is different, I can't speak for everyone, but for this young man, this is his childhood, this is his young adulthood, this is his experience of he can perform psychokinesis very simply at very high levels. And so when he sees the rest of us who practice the internal arts and attempt to develop within ourselves these greater human abilities, for him, it seems so amateur. It seems like, hey, that's not even at a level worth talking about. So when he sees people putting things on wall, a very popular thing at the moment is to get an object, could be paper, could be a coin, could be something bigger, and put it on the wall, and through concentration, breathing, whatever technique you use to bring yourself into a certain state, you ask it to stay there, but everyone's different the way they do this. You may envision something to help it stick there, but it stays there, and you have influenced that to occur. For him, he sees this as so minor that he doesn't even consider it true psychokinesis. I just find this so interesting. For us internal artists, we train many years to get to this level, and for him it's really nothing. I saw something similar with my training with Master Senteris. Master Senteris does not fall into the category as Benedikt, his name is, who was struck by lightning or a lightning ball. Master Senteris has trained this, but his level is at such a height that when he sees people attempting to do what is so simple for him, I can see, not frustration, but I can see, that type of frustration we get with children who we ask to perform a task. Could you pick up all your toys? And they pick up 50% of the toys. And we're like, but I asked you to pick up all the toys. And their capacity is to pick up 50% and then be prompted, look, there's still a toy over there and one over there. That's their level. So I just wanted to share, for some people, internal artists, the things I show on my channel is maybe at the similar level, you're also practicing this. Other people come onto my channel and they don't even believe what they're seeing. They doubt it's real. And other people are at a level where they're saying, this stuff isn't even real psychokinesis compared to what is very simple and natural for me. So it comes back to paranormal. Paranormal meaning just what is normal for the individual. What is paranormal for one person is not so paranormal for the other. Another topic I would like to touch upon, and I would like to link and show that two seemingly opposing views aren't necessarily opposing, just seen in different light. This topic is spiritual intervention. Like, I'm talking about if somebody is practicing moving an object with their mind or manipulating an object in some type of way, sticking something to the wall with mind power or energy, magnetizing metal with mind power or energy, rolling a pencil across the table, known as telekinesis, an activity known as doing with mind power, energy, chi, whatever words we're going to use, that's the topic that I'm referring to. And the topic of spiritual intervention, I refer to spiritual beings, the unseen energies, intervening, supporting the process. For some people, this is how they see it, that perhaps they channel or not channel or ask for assistance. In the case of healing, one may ask for a healing in the name of Jesus Christ or a Hindu god, or however they interpret, maybe an angel for Christianity, and even telekinesis. It can be thought that there is, as is said in a movement known as Espiritismo, related to Rudolf Steiner, where somebody who was born with his astral eyes open and could see the spiritual realm, educated people on this topic as he was in a position to do so. My position wouldn't be to say, no, it's not any spiritual hands, angels, channeling, doing this. And my position would also be not to say, yes, it is that. Because I believe both can be correct if you look at it in a holistic view. What I mean is, when we step the energy back, finer, 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 to the source level, my experiencing through experiences in Qigong practice and how I train is to recognize a oneness energy. I come from that oneness energy, whatever I is, this body, a plant does, the floor, an animal, the sky, a mountain. So then it gets separated, and there's thoughts which are in the astral realm, a different level of chi. There's individual mind with intentions, again in that other finer, unseen level of chi. So coming from the perspective that there is the seen and the unseen, and that this body and this experience is part of that one picture, I think we're missing the whole picture if we don't say, yes, there's elements involved that we don't know everything of the elements that could be involved. But then I also wouldn't step away and say, oh, it's spiritual intervention. It is not my training, my intention that is causing this. Reason being is because through my meditation practice, I see that there is, when closing the eyes and disconnecting with the so-called physical reality, we become more aware of the astral reality. And if we don't engage with it and see it as permanent, like we mistaken the physical things around us as also permanent, eventually that dissipates, and then we have a more experience of not astral things so much, just moments of not things. So from this perspective, I look at these astral things as not different, not separate from the reflections of my mind. So if I meditate and astral things are coming up, if I start associating with them, interacting with them, then it's like I'm interacting with my own self. Symbols appearing in the external, meditative dream-like state that are reflective of my own thought process and possibly unresolved inner psychology. We could also see that as a reflection of our own self. So in a sense, it is our own self initiating the movement of the pencil across the table, and then the thought forms and energies that are still reflective of that one self within that one tapestry could be carrying it out that would support that view. So according to your mental reference framework, and the way you perceive will influence the words you choose, but there's, from my seeing, always a way to step things back and allow all of it to come together and make sense. It's just everyone has a different angle at it. So check out some of Benedikt's demonstrations. It's very, very interesting. So encouragement to all practitioners, all the very best.